It's not just mine, his or her house. This is our house.
Hello, my name is Tyrone Lowe. I'm your host today. Welcome to another episode of T. Lowe Video Productions. And in the house of the legends, I have the legendary DJ Red Alert. What's up, Red? How you doing, man?
What's going on, boss?
Hey, man.
What's
Good
going
to have
on?
you on my show, The Legends.
Okay, respect, man.
All right. Let's talk about DJ Red Alert. How did you actually encounter beginning your beginning of the craft of hip hop?
Well, during the beginning stages, for my behalf, I went to DeWitt Clinton High School.
Okay.
And during the time I was hanging out with a couple of the fellas, we used to go and sneak downtown to the discos.
Okay.
You know, it wasn't supposed to be down there, but, you know, sneaking down there. And I was seeing some of the classic stuff that was going on. Legendary DJs like Flowers, Rest in Peace, Charisma,
Okay.
Plummer, Together Brothers, along with PDJ Jones and Becky, who I always consider the first female DJ.
Right.
And that was like, after work Thursday or, Friday. But on a Saturday, I got to learn about a brother by the name of Kool Herc.
Okay.
By me going to DeWitt Clinton, everybody kept on talking about Herc. So I finally went to a Herc party.
Okay.
And then I caught the bug from both sides. Meanwhile, I was staying on campus on Fordham University during my high school era of the junior and senior year doing preparation for college, Upward Bound program. And that's when I started seeing what can I do along with my friend, connecting our stereos together and being in the lunchroom of the campus, having some parties.
Right. So when did you capture your first break during that era?
I think when somebody found out that I was starting to do something like that, and they hired me, and I remember my first time I got paid $50.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah.
That was more than we was getting paid back in the days, right, Mike?
Yeah.
But through this whole frontier of your success, because you have been success, and you was also known as the godfather of mixtapes.
Well, I would not really consider myself as the godfather of mixtapes, respect to various others that
Okay.
before me, like
Right.
my man, the world famous Brucey B, my man DJ Star Child.
Okay.
And there was other DJs that was doing it way before me. It's just that I enhanced it by, recording all the parties because I was a member of the Almighty Universal Zoom Nation.
Okay. All right.
Along with Bambaataa,
Right.
Jazzy J, my cousin, and Islam, the host. It's a lot of us.
All right,
And I
okay.
was recording all the parties. So I was duping them and start selling the tapes.
Okay.
And on the side of it, I started making my own tapes.
Okay.
And then by the time I got involved with communication, I started selling them tapes. So I guess that's how everybody looked at me like that.
Who inspired you to be a DJ?
Like I said, I was sneaking downtown. I was looking at PDJ Jones. I was looking at Flowers. I was looking at Plummer. But coming uptown, I was looking at Herc.
Okay.
Kool Herc. Now, I know there was other spectrums of the Bronx.
Right.
That they had their DJs. Rest in peace, my man Mario, and many others that, in other different areas. But it was Herc that caught my eyes in the beginning. Now I'm from Harlem.
Right.
Even though I went to school up here in the Bronx, but I know there was DJs up down in Harlem that was doing their thing, like Hollywood, many others, but it was Herc who I saw first on the hip-hop side.
Okay. Herc used to throw those house parties, right?
Huh?
Back in the days.
Excuse me?
He used to throw those house parties back in the
Not
days.
just the house parties, he was doing like a little hole in the walls.
Right.
And,
Okay.
There was, the first place I remember he played called the Twilight Zone.
Okay.
And that was more like a little hole in the wall, but everybody was coming there, and I was amazed by that.
Okay. Let's talk about Kiss FM. And how did you actually
Kiss
encounter that?
FM.
Because everybody knows the Red Alert from Kiss FM back in the day.
Yeah, after when we start emerging, Zoom Nation, when we have recordings such as the Jazzy Sensation by the Jazzy Five, Zulu Throwdown before that. And then when they took it and peaked off at Planet Rock, Bambaataa started bringing all of us, the whole nation, downtown to play in various clubs. First was Club in the Grill, then Dance Terry, then we wound up being in the Roxy. So when the Roxy started growing, that's when the program director at 98.7 KISS FM took interest and came down to check us out. And he introduced himself to Bambaataa, his name was Barry Mayo, and said to Barry, we want to bring what you have along what we already have, because they had the KISS master mixes.
Okay, right.
And they want to incorporate the sounds of hip-hop culture. So that's when they first person they went after was Africa Islam. But he was overseas at the time, so he couldn't make the appointment. So the next person they went after was my cousin, the original DJ Jazzy J. He did it for a couple months, getting a lot of exposure, and gigs, but, there wasn't paying. And he just let it go while he was on tour with Soul Sonic Force. So that's when they came to band and said, who's the next person? Here I come, and that was in October '83.
Okay.
And I never looked back.
Okay. Let's talk about some of the people that you helped along the way, to actually, you helped so many people along the way. Let's name a few of them,
A lot of people know that I started helping out KRS-One and Rest in Peace Scott LaRock for Boogie Down Production, breaking their record. I was the first person to break that Roxanne record that became so many Roxanne records and other artists behind that. I also was responsible for, introducing the native tongue, starting off with my family, which is the Jungle Brothers. Mike G is my nephew, and his friends are Africa and Sammy B. And then they start chaining along with Tribe Called Quest, De La Soul, here come Queen Latifah, here come Moni Love, here come Black Sheep. So, I'm just naming a few. A lot of people, I looked at it this way. If it sound right, I'm going to introduce it.
Right.
And that's the way I took it. I didn't play no favors. I didn't play politics. I played what I believe.
Okay. Do you miss KISS FM?
Oh, I miss it a great deal because, I'm proud to say that I've been on all 4 urban stations in New York City. KISS FM, Hot 97, Power 105, and now WBLS. But home started at KISS.
Okay. Do you ever get a chance to really go back into the future and, do this all over again?
No, look at it this way. If there's anything that come in a full circle, so be it.
Right, okay.
It's a pleasure. But if it don't come around, you could say, listen here, it's part of my history, and I cherish it, and it helped me become who I am.
Okay. There's a lot of people out there right now that's actually trying to follow in your footsteps, as far as being DJs and things of that nature. And, what can you say to them to actually, to keep them level?
What I always tell people is, number one, learn how to master your craft in whatever you're doing. Not just as a DJ, as an artist, as a producer, even behind the scenes. But at the same time, learn the knowledge of the business. Okay. And that's one thing I even had learned myself because, like I say, my first thing I got was $50, not knowing that I had became a businessman. So now here it is, you gotta learn how to conduct the situation of, controlling what you're doing with your craft, but controlling your destiny, how to build your criteria of what it is in business. Not knowing where it's gonna lead to, but it gotta start from somewhere.
Right. So do promoters have a lot to do with as far as the increase in a lot of your status, or? Would you
Promoters?
say that? Yeah. Would you say that?
It can go hand in hand either way. Sometimes it's, the promoters feel like they want to take time to build along with you because, they see what you have, you see what they have, and you can make yourself like a unit, or they can go ahead and observe the increase of what is it that you brought upon yourself, where they take interest to go ahead and, to increase more pay, or if you demand it according to you feel you deserve, it's up to them. They want to go ahead and pay it off.
Okay. Through your success, name some of the places that you've traveled to. I know you've been to different countries, and because you are like nationwide, So let's talk about that.
Well, other countries I have been to, of course, many times out there to England, Germany, New Amsterdam, Japan, up all throughout Canada. I'm trying to see even France, trying to see what other places I can go if possible.
Okay. So when you in your production, as far as being a DJ, are you just playing the classics, or are you playing some of the new stuff as well?
I've learned to play a little bit of everything.
Okay.
You know, past and present. And what I do the same thing like I did in the past. I take time and judge what sound right and learn to fit it in right along with some current or recurrent.
Right.
And then sometimes learn to sandwich it with some of the classics.
Okay.
You know? And you know, a lot of people don't think it can be done. It's a science of how you put it together.
Right.
You know, it can be done.
Okay. My question to you and the viewers, I always ask, because my viewers always want to know, what is hip hop to you?
Hip hop is a way of life. You know, we had to learn to make something out of nothing, you know, because when I learned during the time when I was going to a Kool Herc fair, it was, now this is all during right after the gang era that was taking place up in the Bronx. So now, you know, you up in the Bronx where, you know, not much going on in the urban, you know, environment, but you had to learn how to create something. So, you know, it was graffitiing going on, you had the break dancing going on, and then you had people that just articulate with their little style, their little, what they may say, swag,
Right.
even though I don't like to use that word too much. But it's like, you know, how you articulate yourself. Because one thing I learned, all different genres of music had a culture. Here it is, jazz had a culture, rhythm and blues had a culture, you know, everything had a culture. But what it stripped away from it, the first thing, the music form. But meanwhile, everything else came in place. So that's what I always look at, that we learned how to make something out of nothing because we didn't have much.
Right.
You know, learn how to do without and or learn to create.
It's very profound you say that, because due to the fact that it has happened, you also crossed over to a whole different crowd as well. I mean, it just, you know, you crossed over.
I think that we had crossed over to a whole different crowd
Exactly.
for the fact because the popularity had increased. Of course, you know, in the beginning, they always looked at it as like, what is this hip hop, this bebop, this, they call it all kind of different type of stuff. And when they saw people, how they was dressed, the way they was dancing, the way they just, you know, articulate themselves,
Right.
you know, and they would say, this is some old street stuff, but not knowing that it was going to enhance to become a cultural thing that attached within radio, television, film, advertisement, fashion, you name it, it's part of the world now.
You know, the first thing I thought about when I was coming up, and I watched Beat Street, and that was like the intro of a whole lot of that culture that was actually going on at that time. You
Yes.
know? Then
But-
came, yeah, go ahead.
I mean, when B Street came in place, and even before B Street, you had Wild Style, but you know that was a diamond in the rough. But B Street, that really started, you know, it was hitting more on the Hollywood platform. So
okay.
you know now it's become towards to the mainstream. So when people are seeing that for the first time, and they be like, "Whoa, wow!" Middle America had no idea about that. You know, only certain areas knew about it. You know. But now here it is after B Street, here come many others like Crush Groove. Remember Fat Boys had Disorderly, and I
Right.
mean the list is long, you know, so many of them, you
Yeah.
know. I mean, that go to show you that we was breaking through little by little, you know, and then same thing when it come to radio. You know, they used to always have, quote unquote, the sounds of hip hop late night, past 6 o'clock. Whereas now it's regular day part. So, you know, it's like how you knock the doors down. That's the same thing that goes with all other different genres of music. I remember when they was saying certain type of music where they did not want to embrace it. But the power of it strengthened the whole situation.
So, what are you currently doing now, Red? I mean, you're still a functioning DJ. I mean, every time I
Yes.
turn around, your red alerts all over the place. I mean, I caught you like twice this summer, you
All
know,
right.
on the Shadow Boat Ride,
Yeah.
and you know, when we talked about being on the show and stuff like that.
Yes.
And caught you at a few of your birthday parties and things of
Right.
that nature, and you're still going strong, and that's phenomenal.
Well, you know, there's one thing I learned. Number one is that it's your passion that make you continue. That's part of your drive, you know. There's no age to it. If I see musicians that still perform no matter what length of time they've been around, us as DJ, we like musicians too. we performing.
Exactly.
You know, we being productive and introducing, you know, and entertaining. So yeah, I don't have no age limit. I never got a long time ago. This is like in the 80s, late 80s. I went to the Boston Road Ballroom, and here it is. There was a party going on. It was a collective a little bit of everybody, all different, you know, generations. And who was behind the set was an elderly man. He had to be, God bless him, maybe his 70s.
Wow.
And he was DJing. And I just listened to him, and I see the selection of music playing that was going from R&B to hip hop, past, present. I say, God bless him. I mean, you
Wow.
know, that go to show you that it don't have no age limit.
Right. You know, so
You do what you love.
have you done any studio work as far as tracks are concerned?
Well, you know, I never forget the first recording I had did under my man Vincent Davis, Entertainment Records, right along with Chuck Chilla. It was a thing called Hip Hop on Wax, Volume 2. Chuck Chilla did Volume 1. And then, you know, I was also working along with a female by the name of Sparky D during the Roxanne era. And then, you know, of course, you know, a little bit along Boogie Down Production, and then here come along the Jungle Brothers. So, you know, I have formulated Red Alert Production that brought out, you know, deals for Jungle Brothers, introduced a Tribe Called Quest, and, you know, various others, and did some compilation albums. Now, what they call mixtapes, I took it and enhanced it into a professional form to the recording industry and called Red Alert Presents.
Would you say in the beginning did society really accept hip hop for what it was, or was it some type of difficulty in the beginning?
You know, it was some difficulty because if they didn't understand it, they'll take it, water it down, repackage it, and present it in their own way.
Right.
The realization of hip hop still exists. It's just that you got to know the difference between the fabrication and the real. That's the best way I could put it.
Okay. A lot of legendary DJs like back in the past, like the Fearless Four, which Mike was supposed to have been here actually
Yeah,
on the
my
show.
man Mike, respect to
You
the
know,
Fearless Four.
I respect them for being the first hip hop that ever really got a major deal.
Yes, they were the first hip hop group got a major deal. You know, that was on Elektra.
Right.
You know,
Exactly.
Respect to Curtis Rowe, who was the first single artist to have a major deal on Mercury. But you know, it had to start somewhere. You know,
Right.
Of course, they all started from independent labels. Respect to my man Paul Whitley, my man Peter Brown, my man Mr. Robinson, Bobby Robinson. You know, and of course Sylvia Robinson. You know, they saw something and they believed in it. And
Yeah.
they pushed the envelope.
Yeah.
But it helped make the majors see that there's something going on.
Right. So I see that you're going to keep going. I can never say when it's going to stop for you, Red, because you're still full force, you know?
No.
And I'm glad to have you on my show. And, you know, I've learned a lot from you through the years as far as...
Thank you.
Yeah, just not your performance, but your characteristics, how you carry yourself. I've been at a few events where I've actually approached you. You always say, well, I always say, let's take a picture, Red.
Yes.
You know, and it's glad to know that people just don't know you now as a DJ, but actually for what you're formulating right now as a person. You know, and that's very
I think
important.
that come from my upbringing. You know, I was raised by my grandparents, and you know, my grandparents from the West Indies.
Okay.
You know, so it's a tradition that they carry with how you conduct yourself,
Right.
especially when you know you coming from the minority side, because you know you being challenged. So you never get beside yourself. And then I learned how to carry that along into what I'm doing, you know. And then I had a lot of OGs that used to always take me under their wing. There was a gentleman I never forget. He used to say, "Young blood, I heard what you're doing now. Check this out. There's 24 hours in a day. If they want a couple minutes, give them a couple minutes. Not gonna hurt." So them things I take as jewels, and I keep that in mind.
Right. So, Red Alert, you know, I always ask everybody on my show,
Yes.
where would you feel like you want to be at least 5 years from now?
From 5 years from now, well,
It might be a far projection, but everybody
Yeah.
has a goal.
I would like to go ahead and be nice and comfortable along with my family, love my family, respect to all of them, spend time. You know, I'm spending time with the grands now. I have no shame. You know,
Right.
I'm proud to say I have grands. You know, and still continue what I love.
Right.
You know, I mean, after a while, I know I'm going to retire from radio, but that don't mean I retire from DJing.
Okay.
You know, there's this difference between, you know, doing it for the business and doing it for the pleasure, you know?
Okay.
You know, so, you know, between that and just enjoying family.
Okay. So tell your viewers how can they contact you and give me your email address. I mean, how can they actually
Well, in order to contact me for, social media, at Cool DJ Red Alert, Cool with a K, of course, also for the bookings, anything per se, and, respect to everybody who I'm involved with, respect to everybody that listened to me either one time or for a long length of time. I appreciate y'all.
Okay. Well, there it is, the legendary Red Alert on the Legends. My name is Tyrone Lowe. I'm your host for T Lowe Video Productions. And stay tuned for another episodes. And like I said, Red, is so glad to have you here,
Respect, man.
And,
thank you, man. Appreciate it.
Hope you come back again.
All right. Big up to the Bronx because, everybody think I'm from the Bronx, but, the Bronx helped enhance me to become who I am.
Okay. And there it is, you guys. Tune in again for another episode. Y'all have a very nice day. Okay? Thanks again.
What's the deal, everybody? It's the coolest legendary. It's the cool, the DJ, the Red Alert, everybody, with my main man, the B man. You know what I say? The B man. Make a point of that. Out.
Hey, yo, Red, I'm getting sick and tired of this.
What you getting sick and tired of, my brother?
Love to hear the story again and again of how it all got started way back when. The monument is right in your face. Sit, listen for a while to the name of the place. The bridge.
Respect everybody out there, please. I'm sorry to say, y'all know about it. You might know where it comes from.
South Park, South Park, South Park, South Park, South
And he had a birthday yesterday. Happy birthday, my man, Carlos One. Let's go.
Many people tell me this style is terrific. It is kind of different, but let's get specific. KRS-One specializes in music. I only use this type of style when I choose it.
Party what?
Party people in a place to be. KRS-One attack. You got dropped off MCA cause the rhymes you wrote was whack. So you think that hip-hop had this start out in Queensbridge?
Not that I know of.
If you pop that junk up in the Bronx, you might
Where did it start from?
in South Park, the South Park, South Park, the South Park, South Park, the South Park, South Park, the South Park.
Now you know it's all about the guard right here. Do the walk now. How many of y'all still gotta do the walk? The Union Square, the rooftop, that quarter classic. It's the guard, my man Rakim.
I came in the door, I said it before. I never let the mic magnetize me no more, but it's fighting me to rhyme. I can't hold it back. I'm looking for the line, taking off my coat, clearing my throat. The rhyme will be kicking it till I hit my last note. My mind remains in mind, all kind of ideas. Self-esteem makes it seem like the thought took years to do, but still say a rhyme after the next one. Prepared, never scared, I was just best one. And you know that I'm solo with some.
Red Alert.
Make it back to this.
Wanna make it real good out there? Let's go with me.
Do you want me?
be happy tonight.
I don't know how to be. It's been a long time since I had someone who loves me. I owe my thanks to thee. I know it couldn't happen without your love. Ooh, without your love.
You think it's a game? This is what we do right here, okay? Pick up everybody else that's from all different places go around, especially from people down there in Charlotte. But right now it's all about my people right here in New York City.
Who's that dancing to the latest? Swap you both the greatest. Oh, he sure is with me. That's what I said. So you didn't know yet. All of it was kismet. So to me, made history. Put your hands on that. Spell it out. To the T that is. I got the best of life. Coast to coast. I'm all over the place. I love you. I'm talking Spanish to you, baby. Swear, swear. I'm talking love. Swear, swear. I'm talking Spanish to you, baby. Swear, swear. I'm talking love. I see you on the street. My whole body gets weak when you stand in the crowd. You let lost to me so loud. Girl, do I do what you do when I do?
It's not just mine, his or her house. This is our house.
DJ Tyrone.